All right, good morning, everyone. This is Brett Matt Sura, and you guys are at Real Estate Objection Handling. And today, I'm going to be going over a very common objection, and that is we want to think it over. Look, you guys are going to get this objection all the time, and it's so we're going to break it down using conversational selling. We're going to, and just so you know, if you guys are the first time you guys have been to this channel or watched my videos, conversation selling is all about having a conversation with someone. It's not being salesy. It's tying into the way that people normally communicate. And the way that normally people communicate is through they say something, you say something. They say something, you be something. Now, I want you to think to yourself, who here likes being sold? Who here likes talking to someone who's being salesy? Nobody does, right? So when you can figure out and you can actually control the conversation, and if you've heard me, the person who asks the questions will always control the conversation. But if you understand how to communicate and you understand how you can control a conversation through asking questions, you're going to be able to convert more people. Jim Rohn, the famous Jim Rohn, the late Jim Rohn, has always said that you can make up in numbers where you lack in skill. Now think about that. You can make up in numbers where you lack in skill, which means that you don't have to be that great. Just go out and talk to a ton of people. You don't have to be that great. Just make sure that you're talking to 100 people a day and you're bound to get one. Now, if you believe that to be true, then you also have to believe the flip side of that coin. You can make up in skill where you lack in numbers. You can make up in skill where you lack in numbers, meaning that you don't have to talk to so many darn people if you're good at your trade, if you're good at your craft. And nobody gets good at anything without practice, and you're never going to practice or perform at a level higher than what you practice. So that's what this is all about. So if you like this content, if you like getting this video, please, if you're catching this on the replay, subscribe to this channel, hit the alert button to be notified of any new stuff. If you're here live, please let me know that you're here live. I can click up the comments here. I think I should be able to read them. But let's move into this. So I'm going to share my kind of screen here. Okay, so we want to think it over. And let's move into the next slide. So we're going to use a technique that I call the ultimate rebuttal formula. Okay, the ultimate rebuttal formula. It's not about the words. It's how you say the words. It's how your tempo, it's your strategic pauses, it's everything. The least thing that's important when it comes to communication is words. Now, if you can actually have a conversation face-to-face where you can actually utilize all your senses and check somebody's body language, that's ideal. That's an ideal situation. But if you can't, then you need to overemphasize certain things because, especially if you're going through the phone, if you could do something video webinar, then that's going to be the second best thing than actually having somebody live and in person. So here's the ultimate rebuttal formula. So you're going to acknowledge, okay, they're going to say something. You're going to acknowledge. It's an active listening technique. You're going to approve, meaning that you're going to make them right. Doesn't mean that by approving doesn't make them wrong, or it doesn't make you wrong. Approving is just grouping them up and making them feel that they're normal. A softener, meaning that typically when you go in to a certain thing or into a certain statement, you want to lessen the blow. And you implement a softener to do that. And then you ask a question. It's that simple, guys. So let's do this. Okay, we're going to go into, we want to think it over. Now we're going to acknowledge it. Okay, we're going to acknowledge, I want to think it over. So the first thing you want to do, look, I totally understand that you'd like to think it over. Okay, that's all you're going to do is just repeat what they said. Now, you could acknowledge this by repeating it in the form of a question. You want to think it over? I wouldn't recommend doing that. And it kind of really depends on the scenario to do that. You need to go into, there are some common objections that always come up. There are some common objections when you're going for an appointment. There are some common objections that always come up during the nurturing or through the objection handling. There's common objections that come up with the pre-qualifying, the listing presentation, and there are common objections that come up in the listing presentation themselves. Here's the thing, a really good presentation addresses all the common questions or all the common objections. Now, in this case, I want to think it over. You and I, you know that I know that you know that you're going to come up with, I need to think it over. So practice this one out. And the first thing you're going to do is, look, I totally get it. I understand that you need to think it over. Now we're going to make them right. We're going to approve and we're going to make them right. In fact, most homeowners want to make sure they're making the right decision. So here's the thing. I just did a level shift in that. Okay, a level shift. See, the original objection was I want to think it over. And simply by me saying, in fact, I find that most homeowners, right, you're grouping them into a group of people and you're making them right. Most homeowners want to make sure that they're making the right decision. Okay, that is asking a question, and that's not asking a question, but that's level shifting into, it was I want to think it over. Now you've switched the objection into making sure they're making the right decision. Then we're going to go into a softener, and we're going to ask a question. So if you don't mind me asking, what is it specifically that you need to think over? Okay, now guys, that's a level 1 question. So as we talked about in other videos, look, this objection right here, I want to think it over. This is an objection, right? This does not tell you why they need to think it over. When you get into this question, if you don't mind me asking, what is it that you specifically need to think over? That's really going that's their why. That's digging down and finding out, why do they need to think it over? People don't need to just think things over just for the case of why. Now, here's the thing. If you're like me, look, this is normal, guys, right? If they don't have any information on you, and this is the first time that they're actually having a chance just to get to know who you are, what you do, what you charge, you're going to get this, I'm going to think it over, and you're probably not going to be able to succumb to that or rebuttal that at the same conversation. See, a lot of real estate agents, what they'll do is they'll schedule an appointment, and then they'll show up on the day of their appointment without pre-qualifying, without a pre-meeting packet, and then they're just going to vomit all this information onto them. And it's going to be like the homeowner is going to be like drinking from a fire hose. You getting a listing, you selling something is everything about the process. Okay. It's nurturing. So there's a point in time where somebody's willing to make a decision, or they're ready to make a decision. And there's a point in time where they're going to start thinking about it. Now that period in the middle is called a discovery period. Look, I know that the majority of you that are watching this, I know that I do this. I don't go straight from thinking about it to making a decision like that. I don't do that. I'm sure you don't do it either. So the process is slowly turning up the heat, slowly nurturing them, warming the water, so to speak. Okay, so everything that you do leads up to rebuttaling, I need to think it over. Now, let's just say that you did that. You're doing everything you're supposed to do, right? You set the appointment. You pre-qualify them. You ask them pre-qualifying questions. You show up at the listing presentation. You nail it. And then they come over with, I need to think it over. Okay, and then we follow through this, and as you go through the ultimate rebuttal formula, and then you go through this, if you don't mind me asking, what is it specifically you need to think it over? Now you have to wait. Now you have to wait for them to respond. God, I don't know. We just need to kind of explore our options. Now you just do the whole ultimate rebuttal formula over again. Okay, look, I totally understand that you need to consider all your options. In fact, I find that most homeowners, they're not really ready to make a decision really, really quickly. Now, if you don't mind me asking, okay, now here's where the question. Do you, all money aside and everything, do you feel that I have the experience and the market knowledge to get your home sold? Well, yes, Brett, I do. Okay, terrific. I do as well. I've sold, me and my company have literally sold, hundreds or thousands, you input your number, hundreds or thousands of homes in this immediate area. In fact, we're very, very familiar with this. So typically when I speak with a homeowner and they say, I need to think about it, usually there's questions about the service that I provide. So what are the questions that you might have lingering about the services I provide? No, Brett, I think that you were pretty clear on the services that you provide. Okay, so it's not the services, it's not the experience, not the knowledge. So typically the only thing on that now is the compensation. So do you feel that given my experience and given my my market knowledge and how many homes I've sold in this immediate area, you feel that I'm the right agent for the job? Do you feel that the compensation that I charge for the services I provide, do you feel that that's fair? Ooh, you pulled out the fair question. Kind of putting them on the spot. See, you can't go from really cold, not talking about it, straight to the fair question, because now you're going to come off salesy. You're going to make it feel awkward, right? Every question that you ask is eliminating various different common objections that are happening. So when you come down to the fair question, look, they're going to say yes or no. Yeah, I do think it's fair. Okay, and if they do think it's fair, okay, well, what I'd like to do is see, is there anything that could be done right now that would cause you to list your home with me right here, right now? What can I do or say that would cause you to make a decision right now? Okay, you could also say that, the people that we've talked to before, they are charging less of a commission. Okay, now that's a whole different objection. Remember, rebuttaling objections is not just having these magical statements that's just going to solve things, right? Having and practicing all of these rebuttals are like techniques. When I grew up, I was in the martial arts. They're like techniques. And when you practice them and practice them and practice them, when you're in role playing, when you practice those with a partner every single day, what's going to happen is that when you're in a real environment, you're not 100% controlling to the environment. So when an objection comes up, you just roll with it, and you understand the way to break it down and the way that you can actually rebuttal the objection. So that's what I got for today. For those of you that are in the real estate role playing group, then please, practice this before you get on with your partner. That is the objection of the day. And for those of you that have not joined it, that are looking to have a daily role-playing partner, a different daily role-playing partner, you're looking for a reliable place that you can actually practice, so to speak, what I call the dojo or the gym where you can go and practice, then head over to realestateroleplaying.com and get signed up and get on the schedule. You'll get more in-depth training. You'll be part of a big group that actually believes in enhancing their skills, and you'll get better in the process. So guys, without further ado, I certainly do appreciate you guys all showing up and you guys watching this video. And I bid you guys farewell. Get out there, make some calls, make some contacts, have some great conversations, close some deals, and earn some commissions. Take care, everyone.